the Shoemaker Levy 9 impacts.
We used to think that the outer planets were pretty stable. There wasn't a lot happening to them. But in fact, now we see impacts hitting the outer planets all the time.
Jupiter, the largest gas giant, has been our solar system's planetary punching bag. Its gravitational force deflects renegade comets that break loose from their orbital prisons in the Oort cloud and Kuiper belt.
The rate of impacts on Jupiter is greater than that of any other planet for two reasons. First, Jupiter is the biggest planet, so it presents the biggest cross-section. Things are more likely to hit it. Second, Jupiter has a huge mass, so it pulls objects in toward it. In a sense, Jupiter is asking for trouble.
Jupiter has taken a lot of nasty hits, including one of the most violent celestial catastrophes ever witnessed by mankind. In July 1994, the world watched as a chain of 21 comet fragments raced towards the giant planet and struck it with colossal force. Shoemaker Levy 9, named after its discoverers, delivered the energy of 6 million megatons of TNT.
During the Shoemaker Levy 9 impact on Jupiter, you had this ripped-up comet coming in at tens of kilometers per second and impacting Jupiter in one airburst after another as Jupiter spun underneath the comet. And so that led to a series of impacts being spread along a particular latitude of Jupiter's surface and leaving these scars, which were visible in telescopes from the Earth.
The fragments didn't produce craters because Jupiter doesn't have a solid surface. Instead, they struck the gas giant's dense atmosphere, dredging up material that erupted in a trail of venting scars.
The impact scars, the dark cloud features, were about the size of our planet Earth. And that tells an important tale, that if you have an object that's, half a mile across striking an object the size of the Earth, the dust pall from that impact will encompass our entire planet. So that's the lesson we learned from the Jupiter impacts, is it really brought home the story of impacts right here on Earth.
The dark imprints left on the cloud decks of Jupiter were only visible for several months before being mixed into its turbulent atmosphere.
Jupiter has very vigorous and oftentimes very violent weather patterns. So no matter how destructive that airburst might be, over a period of weeks to months, the currents, the airflow in Jupiter's atmosphere takes the pollutants and disperses them through the planet, and the evidence for the catastrophic impact dissipates and disappears.
Shoemaker Levy 9 is a scary reminder of the cosmic unrest in our solar system. But scientists warn that the ultimate catastrophe still looms in the future. And for Earth, there can be no escape. Our solar system has weathered over 4 billion years of planet-altering catastrophes. In some cases, the effects are obvious, like the craters of the late heavy bombardment that still litter the moon. In others, the evidence has long since disappeared. But scientists recently discovered that number 2 on our countdown of catastrophes has created a ripple effect they never imagined. NASA has recently compared images of Jupiter from the Cassini and New Horizons missions and made a stunning discovery. Like Saturn, Jupiter also has rings, though much fainter. But something has disrupted them.
If you look at the rings of Jupiter, they actually have little corrugations, little ripples in them. And those ripples are formed when a portion of the ring is tilted, and then as it continues to spin and evolve over time, those ripples wander out, propagate out through the ring system. If you unwind that system and work back out the ripples, you can find out the point in time when that ring plane had gotten tilted over. That point when that ring got tilted was right around July of 1994.
July 1994 marks the date of the Shoemaker Levy 9 impact event. The scientific sleuths had made a key discovery. As the cometary fragments struck Jupiter itself, much smaller debris passed through its rings, tilting and twisting them into the ripples that we still see today.
In the case of a disrupted comet like Shoemaker Levy 9, you've got an entire pall of dust, a large mass of material distributed across the disk of the rings, raining through that system. And so rather than displacing only one or two ring particles, you can do the entire cloud at once, tipping it on the side.
Shoemaker Levy 9 wasn't the only comet to leave its calling card mark on Jupiter in recent times. In July 2009, another asteroid smashed into the gas giant near its south pole.
When it impacted Jupiter, it brought up a lot of material from deep within the atmosphere and created a huge scar on the surface of the planet that was visible for many weeks. The size of this black ash cloud was perhaps the size of the Pacific Ocean on the Earth. It was quite large.
It's now estimated that an asteroid or comet hits Jupiter every 10 to 15 years, which is 5,000 times higher than the rate of impacts on Earth.
The fact that we've seen several of these, it suggests it's happening all the time because they're all the ones we don't see. So there's a lot more impact activity on the outer gas giants than we ever thought.
If Jupiter was not in our solar system, the Earth would be essentially a sitting duck for all the debris, the comets and the asteroids that were falling in towards the sun, creating vastly larger numbers of catastrophes on Earth than we've experienced through our history.
But as our solar system ages, new threats will likely arise, and Earth itself will face a cosmic day of reckoning that nothing, not even Jupiter, can prevent.